Well, a happy Friday to everybody. Hope you've had a good week and are looking forward to your weekend. And maybe you tried the meatloaf I put up the other week or the bread I put up this week. Anyway, it's Friday, which means it's time for our shout-outs, our story, and our groaner. So let's get on with our business of the day. Our first thing is our shout-outs, and we have two channels today. First one is John O'Toole Dog Games. You should check out John's channel. It's a lot of fun. Watching, he takes his dogs out to places to play. He shows you products that are made for dogs and kind of reviews them. And it's just a fun channel. So check out John O'Toole Dog Games. It's a channel that hails from Ireland, which I'm sure you probably guessed by the name. Well, there's good Irishmen all over the world, but John does happen to live in Ireland, so there we are. And our second channel we're shouting out is Big W Adventures. And Big W used to live in Washington State, but last year, the end of last year, moved to Arizona. And just has a VW Baja and does tootling around all over the place, and beautiful, beautiful scenery. Lots of interesting places he and his wife go in the Baja and different areas of Arizona. So really well worth checking out. Big W Adventures. So there you have your shout-outs. Now it's story time. Now for this, because I know I'm a handsome guy and you really love looking at me. Anyway, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine you're back in the old west of the United States. For those of you that don't live in the United States, you have to think back to those old cowboy films that maybe you saw. And where are we? Well, we are going to be in Kansas, in a town called Newton. Here's the story. It's called Sunday at the Saloon. In Newton, Kansas, gambling was a mania. There were 8 gambling institutions, 80 professional gamblers, and hundreds of cowmen ready to take a chance. The Gold Rooms, operated by Doc Thayer and Bill Pierce, were the most famous and influential of them all. Thayer looked like a preacher more than a saloon keeper. He wore faultless linen, always kept his coat on, and wore his trouser legs outside his boots. He was decidedly the swell of the town. Pierce was a popular fellow who had been a miner and had owned a large cattle ranch. He had the reputation of getting more business than any other saloon keeper in the Southwest. The Gold Rooms offered 6 tables, a mammoth bar, music, and sideshows. Every device invented for gambling could be found there. Faro, chuck-a-luck, poker, old sledge, and tobacco box game, and 1,000 other devices made to obtain money from the gamblers. There was neither a church nor a religious organization in town, so one Sunday evening, when a stranger entered the Gold Rooms, approached the bar, and stated he was a clergyman looking for a place to conduct divine services on the premises, the proprietor was surprised, but not unfriendly. The games were going full blast. The fiddlers were squeaking out the loudest, and the melodeon was growling out its deepest bass. The song and dance man was executing one of his most brilliant pirouettes. The waitresses, with huge trays loaded with glasses, were dodging here and there among the crowd, and 2 rival dogs of the town were being rubbed and pulled for their 3rd great fight of the day. Divine services amid all this? Thought the proprietor, and coughed and expectorated, but seeing an opening for business, answered quickly, "By all means, sir. We would be most happy to have you preach. When would you like to open up?" "At 8 o'clock, if you please," was the answer. Then the gentleman withdrew. Here was great news. It traveled down the streets and into the people's homes until the whole town knew there was to be preaching in the Gold Rooms. A great crowd had gathered in the establishment by the time the preacher had set. He came in, and as he passed the bar, friendly invitations to have a drink greeted him on all sides. The preacher had a red nose, and though he disregarded the invitations, His nose blushed deeper, and he sniffed spasmodically. Someone saw it and was crude enough to call out, "Don't go back on your spiritual friends, old fellow." Service began with a prayer. Somebody was playing Pharaoh in hard luck. The queen had beaten him 3 times. He lost just again as the prayer was drawing to a close. "Damn the luck!" broke from the gambler's lip, just as "Amen" followed from the podium. The whole house roared. Someone let the dogs loose and a dogfight was added to the service. Nevertheless, the services went on, and hymns and a sermon followed. The preacher took up a collection, had a drink, and left. A few days later, it was learned that he was no preacher at all, merely a hard-up sharper who wanted a week's board money. There you go. So that was Sunday night in the saloon. Can you imagine that? You can picture the whole scene in your mind, can't you? With the Pharaoh wheel spinning and the saloon girls delivering drinks. Yep. So there you have it. Sometimes the professional gamblers and saloon keepers get conned. But I think the town people were probably happy just to have had a service. Alrighty. You sitting down? You got a good firm grip on the arms of your chair? You ready for the groaner of the week? Well, here it comes. A corporal in the military was transferred to a new command, and with him a letter to his new commander. The new commander read the letter from the fellow's old commander and said, "Corporal Smith is an excellent soldier, but would be even better if he could be cured of his insatiable gambling." The new commander read the letter, looked up at the corporal and said, "So, I understand you gamble." And the corporal says, "Yes, sir." The new commander said, "I do not approve. On what sorts of things do you gamble?" And the corporal said, "Oh, on just about anything, sir. I'm willing to wager on anything." And the new commander says, "Well, give me an example." The corporal said, "Well, sir, I'll bet my whole packet of wages from last month that you have a strawberry birthmark under your right arm." The commander says, "Put your money on the table." So the corporal reaches inside his suit pocket or jacket pocket, pulls out an envelope, shows the commander it contains his month's wages, and he lays it on the desk. The commander then stands up, takes off his uniform jacket, undoes his tie, strips his shirt off, pulls his undershirt off, and stands there stripped to the waist down to prove there is, whoops, sorry, wrong arm. There is no strawberry birthmark under my right arm. And the corporal looks rather defeated and says, "I'm sorry, sir." He pushes the envelope across the desk. The colonel takes it and puts it in the top drawer of his desk, and he says, "Now, son, maybe that'll cure you from gambling. Dismissed." The corporal salutes and leaves the office. The commander gets redressed, and he calls up the old commander, who happens to be a friend of his from way back in boot camp when they both first signed up. Says, "Well, I've got your corporal here." And he says, "I think I've just cured him of wanting to gamble." And the old commander says, "Oh, how did you do that?" He says, "Well, a young whippersnapper bet me his whole month's wages that I didn't have a strawberry birthmark under my right arm. Or that I did have a strawberry birthmark under my right arm." He says, "So I showed him," I say, "stripped down to the waist and proved I had no birthmarks at all. So that should fix him." And the old commander says, "No, I think you just egged him on." The new commander says, "Well, what do you mean? He lost a month's wages." He says, "Yeah, but before he left here, he bet me 20 to 200 odds that he'd have you stripped to the waist within 5 minutes of meeting you." There you go. So never underestimate a gambler, huh? Hope you've enjoyed today's story and the groaner. Please check out John O'Toole Dog Games and Big W Adventures. I'll put links in the description box below. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday for some fun in the kitchen. And until then, take care, stay safe, and God bless.